Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are playing Avatar: The Last Airbender for the Game Boy Advance. This game consists of 46 achievements worth 301 points on the RetroAchievements website. We start off the story like we all know it, but Aang already met with Sokka and Katara on the North Pole. Aang stops meditating and suddenly remembers he got a date with Katara to go penguin sledding. We get to the village and meet up with Katara, and our date is cancelled because the elder of the village wants to talk to us. He tells us that Hiryu hasn't returned yet after hours of hunting, so the elder asks us to go looking for him, which we accept because we are the Avatar. We head north of the village and we come across our first obstacle, but we can easily push and pull these containers aside. We enter the cave and our first challenge starts. Successfully exiting the cave without being hit a single time by any falling stalactites rewards us with our first achievement, called No Ice. We get down and we see these air swirls on the ground, and can use these swirls to fly to higher places with his staff. In this section, we have to retrieve Hiryu's water pouch without dealing any damage. We easily dodge the wolves without dealing damage to them, and we find the water pouch. When we pick it up, we get the Lost His Way achievement for finding Hiryu's water pouch for Master Way. We also get the Nomad Pacifism North Pole achievement for retrieving Hiryu's water pouch without dealing any damage in that section. So now that we have the water pouch, we can bring it back to the elder in the village. We talk to Master Way, and he is worried because waterbenders never leave their water pouch behind. He tells us that Sokka is waiting for us in the training camp, so he stops blocking the stairs and we can move on. There we see Sokka struggling to move a water-filled container. We get up the air swirl and come across a green gem. These act like switches. When we hit it, the 3 wooden pillars get down and we can pass them. When we surpass them, we meet Sokka and we tell him we should work together to move the heavier boxes filled with water. Sokka joins our team and we get the Captain Boomerang achievement for it. Now we can swap between Sokka and Aang, and Sokka has his own ability, his famous boomerang attack. We move the heavy container with water, and we come at our first obstruction puzzle for Sokka. We have to lower the pillars again, but we can't move over the fallen tree on the ground. We are the Avatar, but the tree is stopping us. Makes sense. When we are at the exit, we hear lots of loud noises coming from the village, so we go and investigate them. When we are back, we see that the Fire Nation has invaded and Zuko commands his troops to take Katara with them to lure the Avatar out. When we go after them, we see that the ship is already leaving, but luckily we have a flying bison. We save the game for the first time at the Blue Crystal and we get going. Here we also meet our first boss fight, the big metal fire claw thingy. The boss's main attack is shooting fireballs at us, but we can dodge them pretty easily. In return, we use Sokka's boomerang attack to knock both hands down, and then we can switch to Aang to deal some damage on his chest. When we do this for 3 cycles, we get the Metal Bending achievement for defeating the Fireclaw boss, and the Tough Would Be Proud achievement for defeating the boss without taking a single hit. And if you were wondering if the kids made it alive that were playing here earlier, don't worry, they are alive and well, and they are playing with Momo. Sokka also retrieves his club that was laying around the camp, and we can use it now to do some basic attacks with Sokka. That gives us the Join the Club achievement. We get on Appa, and after hours of looking, we finally find Zuko's ship docked at a small island. The island is filled with Fire Nation troops, so we decide to land in the forest and continue on foot. We go toward the south and we find another obstacle for Sokka. It's a green bush. But we can destroy it easily with his club, so that's a good thing. It may seem ridiculous, but yes, only Sokka can destroy these. It's because this is mostly a puzzle-based game, and if everyone from the party could do what is character specific, it wouldn't be much of an action puzzler, would it? We talk to this laughing or crying person, I can't really tell. He tells us the Fire Nation brought in a waterbender girl, and they brought her to the prison. We move the heavy container, we destroy the bush, and we keep moving on. We can see the actual ship being docked to the side, and for this area we have to do another pacifist section. Here we have to dodge the attacks while not dealing damage ourselves. Note, we can actually take damage, but it just looks nicer if we also dodge the attacks, in my opinion. We also come across a new mechanic. Some pressure plates need heavier items on them than just the plain empty containers. Some need a container on top of them that are filled with water, and those are heavier. Wooden pressure plates need empty containers, stone pressure plates need containers with one layer of water in them, and metal pressure plates need a container with 2 layers of water into them, but this will get more clear later. Also, these containers have an equivalent to the characters. Light is 1 character, medium is 2, and heavy is 3. Spoiler alert, yes, we will have 3 playable characters later. So when we finish moving the containers, we dodge some more fire troops until we come across yet another new mechanic. Now there are containers with spikes around them, and if we try to move them by hand, we get damaged. So we go to the north. When we enter the new section, we get the Nomad Pacifism Island Village achievement for not dealing damage that whole section. We talk to some people of the village, and they are all talking about the girl being locked in a prison. But one person tells us there's a chest laying around with a mysterious scroll of a forgotten art. So we go look for it. We head towards the east, where we have another puzzle mechanic. This time it's a lever only Sokka is strong enough for. But the dumb part is, he has to keep it open, and that splits up the party. We move the container with Aang, we get our friend back in the party, and we move the heavier container together. Here there are some more Fire Nation troops, but now we're allowed to defeat them. We use the swirls on the ground to get on the higher platforms to activate the gem switches, which lowers the pillars. We defeat some more enemies, and we can also break open the pots to reveal a green herb that replenishes our health. When we keep going, we have another small puzzle section between Sokka and Aang, where the game teaches us we can't switch between characters if there is someone in a battle. When they free each other's path, we can stand together on a heavier platform and make the pillars descend. We then hit the switch with Sokka's boomerang and the path opens, revealing a chest. When we open it, we get the Having a Blast achievement for unlocking Aang's air blast. Now we won't have any troubles anymore moving these empty spiked containers. We can also use it to attack enemies from a distance with Aang. Now with our new skill, we can open up the way towards the west by moving the spiked container. In the distance, we spot another chest, but we can't reach it quite yet. We move the container with Aang to clear another path. We defeat some more fire soldiers, and we find a small hidden path behind a bush. There we find a health potion. When we pick it up, we get the It'll Quencha achievement. It also increases the maximum HP of one of our party members. We also meet these new, tougher enemies with their pikes. They take a lot more damage before they are defeated. They come rushing towards us, but we can stun them with our air blast attack. In the chest we spotted earlier, we find 2 fire soldier uniforms that definitely will come in handy. We also get the Art of Disguise achievement for it. Before we head towards the prison, we make a little detour in the woods. There we find another spiked container we can move with our air blasts, and it reveals yet another health potion. Picking it up gives us the Drink Cactus Juice achievement. Now it's time to head inside the prison. We hide inside the bushes and we disguise ourselves with the uniforms we found earlier. Once we get inside, we immediately take off the disguise. I don't know why they would do that if they want to stay hidden, but oh well. Inside the prison, we fight off some more enemies. Now is a good time to explain the blue and the green bars are on their face icons. The green one is obviously our health, and the blue one is our stamina or chi bar. When our meter is fully depleted, we can't do any attacks anymore to avoid spamming. We find a new trick to easily defeat the pike soldiers as well. We can just stun them with Aang, and then switch to Sokka rapidly and finish them off with our club. When we defeat them, the pillar opens and it reveals another chest. Inside we find the silver key, which we can use to open the silver doors inside the prison. We go towards the other side of the prison, where we find our first silver door, and it leads us straight to Katara. We free her from her shackles, but before we leave, she asks if we can free the Maker first, another person that is locked inside the prison, forced to make machines. When we end our little conversation, we get the Grand's favorite achievement for making Katara join our team. With Katara and our team, we can use some water to create a whip to damage enemies. We can also use it to extinguish flames, so it reveals a new path for us. There we find the key keeper of the prison. We use a few whip attacks with Katara, defeating him easily. It also gives us the He's Whipped achievement for defeating the keeper but only using Katara's whip attack. He also drops a golden key for us. And now we can open the golden doors inside the prison. Before we take the door straight ahead, we make a detour to the other side first. We open the golden door and we find another health upgrade. Picking it up gives us the Nothing Squenchier achievement. When we go back and take the main golden door, we walk inside the prison where they keep the Maker. But she's not only guarded by a cell, but also by this buff dude. Our second boss fight, which we also have to defeat without taking damage. On his first phase, he throws bombs at us that explode instantly when they hit the ground, but we can dodge them pretty easily. After a few bombs, he throws one that explodes only after a few seconds. We use Aang his air blast to shoot the bomb back to him, stunning him in place. Then we can finally do some damage to him instead. After a few hits, he gets conscious again and starts his next attack, his spinning hammer attack. He spins towards the other side of the map, so he can start his bomb attack all over. We repeat this for 2 more cycles, and when we defeat him, we get the Bombs Away achievement for defeating the boss, and the Stop Hammer Time achievement for defeating the boss without taking a single hit. We go to the next room to open the cell door for the Maker, but by the time we come back, she is already gone. We go inside her cell and we see the map of Omashu. Apparently they work together with the Fire Nation to create the armored machines. So we head towards Omashu so we can ask the king himself. When we open up the chest in the cell, we receive the White Mage achievement for learning the healing skill for Katara. We head towards the exit of the prison, but of course also have to do some puzzling first. We have to move the spite container, but this time it's full of water. Luckily we have a water bender on our team now. We can use her bending to shift water from one container to another. Then we can move the box with ease using Aang's air blast. We come across the first golden door again we saw while entering the prison, and when we open it, we see yet another health potion. When we pick it up, we get It's the Quenchiest achievement. After that, we finally get out of the prison, getting some fresh air. We head into the woods and find another chest behind those pillars. We put one more layer of water in the container, so it's the equivalent of 3 people pressing in the metal plate. That opens a door for us. When we open the chest, we get the Building Bridges achievement. Inside the chest, we get the Ice Bridge scroll. When we are near a stream of water, we can now create an ice bridge of maximum 2 squares, but not where there is a whirlpool. We can also create only 1 bridge at the same time. When we finish this little tutorial section on how to use our new power, we get back to Appa and Momo and we head towards the Earth Kingdom. We land in Omashu and we head towards a palace. On our way there, we meet Haru, and he tells us one of the Earthbenders are missing. So we go to King Bumi to tell him the bad news. He tells us he knows there is a place that produces the ore which the machines are made of, but he forgot where it is. So he tells us we should go to the Royal Library to look for answers. But this one dude jumps up and tells us that the library is only for Earthbenders and citizens of Omashu. We head back outside to the door of the library, but we can't open it because we can't airbend yet. And no one wants to open it for us. But luckily this guard interferes with our conversation and guards the door. But he leaves the well to the sewers unprotected. When we enter the well, we use Katara to create some more ice bridges so we can continue on. We use the water from inside the containers to fill up the small gap because we can only make a freeze bridge if it's completely filled. We solve some more puzzles by shifting the water around, and we can exit the sewers coming out on the other side of the city. In the next part of the city, we have to do a damageless section again. We have to dodge around the mail system of Omashu. And when we successfully do and enter another sewer system, we get the Just Like Old Times achievement for getting through that section without getting a single hit. We get in this big place where we spot another chest, probably holding another skill scroll. We make a frozen bridge so Sokka can reach the switch with his boomerang. The pillar doors swap places and we get through the other sides. Now we can make a bridge on the right side. When we open the chest, we get the Walking on Thin Ice achievement, and inside of it, we receive the Ice Bridge upgrades. Now we can create 3 frozen platforms instead of 2. That makes us able to go to different places. Now we find out that all the sewers are connected, which is actually pretty obvious. But now with that upgrade, we can reach paths we couldn't before. We move the empty upside down container on the wooden platform, so the pillars descend and we can pass them. We come across another puzzle with yet another chest. We empty the container so we can move it with Aang's air blast. We shoot both emerald switches with Sokka's boomerang, and the path to the chest opens. When we open the chest, we get the That's Pretty Sus achievement. And inside the chest, there is a new ability scroll for Aang, the air vent skill. And we can use the skill immediately. When we move the empty container on an air vent and stand on the other one, we can use the ability to flip over the container, and then we can transfer the water so we can move the other container. But before we move to the exit, we fill the water on this container so the hidden platform triggers. We hear it click and look for pillars that have been lowered. We make a small path in this corner and we find yet another health potion. Picking it up gives us the Uncle Iroh's special brew achievement. We do the same thing with this container and fill it up with water so the pillars lower. There we find another ladder that brings us to a different part of the city. Here we have to do another mail section without getting hit, but a little harder this time, but still very doable. We just go around, between, over, under and next to the minecarts, all while being careful not to get hit. When we reach the next sewer ladder and enter it, we get the Even Boomy Couldn't Do Better achievement for going through that section without getting damaged. Up next, we have a new mechanic for Katara. With her waterbending, she can go through a waterfall, which splits her up from the team. We go stand on the platform, so the pillars open for Aang and Sokka. We do a small puzzle with Aang to push the empty container on the platform, and we can stand on it ourselves so we can descend the pillars for Katara. She can make some more ice bridges to go across the water until we find another chest. When we open it, we get the Ice Breaker achievement as well as another upgrade for our ice bridge. Now we can create 4 platforms to cross the waters. Now we are back in the main sewer that connects them all, and we can take the path on the north by using 4 blocks of ice. That leads us to yet another ladder onto another part of the city. Here we have to position ourselves right to transfer the water so we can move the container with Aang. Then we can go to the spots and we finally find Haru again. He still hasn't found the missing earthbender, but we ask him to open the library door for us, because only an earthbender can. With a little persuasive skills from Katara, he agrees to meet us at the library door. Before we go there, we first transfer the water to the other container again and move the spiked container with Aang. Then we fly up on the spiral symbol, and at the end of this path we find yet another health upgrade. Picking it up gives us the Better Than Tea achievement. We head back to the sewers and we find another secret spot we can only reach when we can make 4 frozen pots. There lays yet another health potion. Picking that one up gives us the Gamer King's Lost Potion achievements. And now we're finally ready to go to the library door. Haru opens it for us and we are finally in. Inside we find another map and information about the ore, but it's on an unknown island. Maybe King Bumi knows it. We exit the library on a side door and we find another chest. Opening it gives us the Sling That Slang achievement, and we gained another upgrade, but this time for Sokka. He can now throw his boomerang in a circular motion, which will come in handy to solve some more puzzles, like these ones. After this little tutorial section of how to use it properly, we meet back with Haru, but at the same time, Zuko and the Fire Nation is also attacking. Haru holds off the troops while we go ask information to King Bumi. He shows us where the secret island is and commands the consul to take us out by the secret passageway. But he instantly leaves us, making us finding the way to the exit all by ourselves. We make our way to some more puzzling. It's basically always the same outcome, but with different ways to solve them, so I will be skipping a few throughout this video. We glide up with Aang, where we find this interesting fight. We have to lure this tank on a vent, where we can then use our air vent skill to push it upside down and immobilize it. We open the gate with Aang and get back to our team. Next up is a solo fight for Sokka. We have to stun this catapult with our boomerang and then just hit it a few times with our club, easily defeating this, dare I say it, mini-boss. And of course, the next one is for Katara. Here is a machine chasing us that uses high-speed water blades to cut us, but we can just take the water out of the machine and put it in this hole, so we can make an ice bridge and move on. Then we find the ladder, finally giving us our freedom, or so we thought. We get out the secret passageway in this house, and we get to the side of it. Here we have to fight these 3 master firebenders, or at least they think they are. We damage each other quite a lot, but after dealing with them, we find yet another health potion, and picking it up gives us the hot leaf juice achievement. We spare Katara some work, and instead of making her heal us, we pick up these green herbs inside these pots. We get to the next section, where we dodge some more mail traffic, but no achievement attached to it this time. We save our progress and head through the door, but there the consul is waiting for us. He doesn't agree with the king, and he wants to destroy the Avatar to protect the city. Here we have another boss fight, and we have to defeat him of course without getting damaged. But this was actually a pretty difficult one to do damageless. His first phase is pretty alright. He spawns some earth spikes we can easily dodge by just walking around. Then he makes these oddly specific rocks fly towards us that are also famous in the show, but we can just use his own pillar to block the rocks flying on our face. After that, he lifts himself up in the air and he wants to drop himself and his rock platform on our heads. But we have to make him drop on a vent, and then we can throw him off by sending air into another vent with Aang. He gets knocked out, and then we can hit him a few times. Then he walks to the other side of the pillar, we snipe him with Sokka's boomerang, and we can hit him again, dealing some more damage. Now we have to do all of this 2 more times, but the flying rocks part is what made me reset the most, because they are flying faster and faster, with more on each side. But after a bit of practicing, we can do the final hit to the boss, and we finally defeat him, giving us the What Is This, the Dai Li achievement, and the Long Fang Wannabe achievement for defeating the boss without getting damaged. We head to the northern path, where Appa and Momo is waiting for us. We yip out of here, and we get to the 4 Paws Islands to learn about its secrets. We take the eastern path, where we have to get through the area again without damaging anything. We dodge some bumbling band of baboons and some wolves until we come to a lever for Sokka. Pull it down so Aang and Katara can stand on the platform, and with Sokka we can go around the whole construction, revealing another chest for him. When we open it, we get the You're the Bomb achievement, and it also triggers the Nomad Pacifism Bomb Upgrade achievement for not hitting any enemy in that section. Inside the chest, we collect the bomb upgrade for Sokka. Now he can destroy all kinds of obstacles that are in our way. We free the path so the team gets together again. We move the container on the metal plates, and filling it up with water makes the pillar drop down, and we can continue on this secret path, where we find another health potion, and picking it up gives us the Jasmine Dragon achievement for it. We head back to the village where we landed, but this time we take the southern paths. There we can use Sokka's bomb to destroy the metal statue, and it reveals some hidden underground stairs. In here, we learn a new trick. When we throw a bomb with Sokka, we can then push it towards the rock with Aang's air blast. I think this was the part I was stuck on when I was a kid. I could never figure out what I had to do here. But a bit further, we find another chest, and inside there is a key for the sacred cavern. We go back to the village and take the western path this time, where we find the door. And if we use the key on it, we get the Doorbender achievement for using the key. Inside, we have to face off 2 of our 3 pathetic mini-bosses again. For Sokka we have the catapult machine, we can just stun with our boomerang again, and then just destroy with our club. And for Aang, we have to do the trick with the vents again, so we can flip the tank upside down, and afterwards push it on the platforms so it can let us through. Outside, we have to use Katara's ice bridge, but this time we needed to create some extra space to push the container over to the other side. We head back inside the cave where we meet the Maker again. She reveals that all the machines we have seen are hers, and that she wants nothing but peace. Aang wants peace as well, but her machines are doing more harm than good. So we decide to stop her. But she gets away, and in order for us to get inside the door she just went in, we have to do a very big puzzling section. I will only show the important parts because else it will get too confusing. First we go to the left side. After some basic puzzling, we have to put water inside of these machines. That makes it activate, and it can follow us around trying to damage us. We lead it to the other side of this little water pond, and there we can use the same water from inside this machine to put the water to the top, making us able to create an ice bridge. This is my favorite puzzle of the whole game. It's not much, but I like how it makes you think outside the box, or should I say container. Then we head on this spot where we create a bridge for Sokka so he can hit all switches in a small amount of time to descend the pillars. There we do this trick with the water machine one more time to fill up this container so this pillar opens as well. We get through some more puzzling and we find another secret room. We destroy this rock with Sokka that's hidden way off the path. Now we are back outside and this must be the puzzle I spent the longest on. It was filled with complex out-of-the-box thinking. We had to create ice bridges around and go through the grassy fields. Pretty shameful I spent over 5 minutes to clear this puzzle in a kid's game. But in my defense, I did finish this game all in one go, so I must have been a bit tired. At the end of the path, we put the container in its place and we can grab our rewards. Picking it up gives us the delicious or poisonous achievements for picking up another health upgrade. We go back inside the cave and this time we pick the main path instead of the secret one. We hit the switch and we can go back to the big door. But it also lowers the pillars for us, so now we can hit the first switch. Now we head back to the right path where we have to do a small parkour section with Katara. Just creating the one path after another with trial and error. When we are at the other side, we create a bridge for Aang and Sokka so they can cross as well. We create one more bridge so Sokka can throw a bomb and Aang can push it towards a rock, exploding it. If this game doesn't teach you how to work together, I don't know which game will. We can open the door with Katara and the team is complete again. Now we are back inside and we have to do a no damage section again with these annoying baboons. And no, I'm not going to quote Professor McGonagall twice in the same video. We dodge the first batch of baboons pretty easily, but then we have the hardest section and we can also see we have to collect another health upgrade. So we have to mingle between them here so we can open the pillars. Normally we can just move the empty container with our air blast, but if we do that, the path to the health potion would be blocked off. So we have to make it through the same section again. Now instead of following the path of baboons, we have to do the opposite. And mind you, we can get hit for another achievement as well. I found out this was a bit too hard to my liking, so I kind of cheated a little bit. I got through the baboons and I got the potion, giving us the One of Lives Through the Lights achievement. Then I restarted from a checkpoint, luckily also resetting the no-hit achievement, and then I went on without having to pick up the potion, because once you unlock an achievement, it will always be there. So we move on to the next section, where we have to create some ice bridges to cross the water and dodge some more baboons. And when we make it back inside of the cave, we earn the Be the Leaf achievement. We go back inside of the cave where we find the second switch for the door. I was wondering why the door didn't open, but then I spotted the third switch on the top. And after looking for minutes on what I had to do, I finally found another path that I somehow missed. There we have to defeat this claw machine yet again. It is exactly the same fight as on the North Pole, but on the right side of the claw we have to do a circular boomerang attack instead of a straight one. This makes it a bit more difficult, but nothing too extreme. We do this cycle 3 times, and when we defeat it, we get the This Thing Again achievement for defeating the boss, and we also get the Scrap That Model achievement for defeating the boss without getting hit. This path also leads us to the final switch to open the big steel door. But before we head into the door, I noticed we were missing one more potion. So I checked the caves over and over again until I find this little path we have to create some more ice bridges for. And there we find the last health upgrade of the game, giving us the Onion Banana Juice achievement. And now it's time to finally go through the door. We do this little puzzle with Aang while being separated from the team, and when we attack the switch and want to return to our friends, we hear a machine-like noise and they are both gone. We get towards the end of the path and we face this monstrosity of a machine. Now this is a boss fight. We have to dodge his drilling patterns that come out of the walls. He will do this first cycle 2 times and then he will pull some rocks out of the wall. We can then use those rocks to air blast them back on himself, making him go backwards a bit. Then we can use the air swirls on the ground to get on top of the platform and burst some air inside his air vents, dealing some damage. We hover off back to the ground and we repeat the cycle. But this time the pattern changed, but the principle stays the same. We dodge the drills until he drills into the wall on the left and he pulls out some rocks. When we push the rocks into them, he goes backwards again and we can get on top of him to deal some damage. And now for the third and hardest cycle, I actually had to concentrate a bit here. But I played a lot of Mario Party and I was pretty good in those likewise minigames. But we get on top of him for the last time, dealing the final hit, completely destroying her machine. And we get the "This is not a drill" achievement for defeating the boss, and the "You know the drill" achievement for defeating the boss without getting hit. We head back to Appa and Momo, and we try to find Sokka and Katara together. It leads us to another cave where we can follow the tracks of the machine that kidnapped them. But we didn't give up hope and finally find where the Maker and her machine has kept them hidden. We do some more puzzling and free Katara. And after that we do the same for Sokka, and then we are one happy team again. Here we have to do some puzzling, but we have to make haste as well. First, we have to throw our boomerang in a circle so it lowers these pillars. Then we have to create an ice bridge so we can move this container to the other side on top of the platform, while also filling it with water so it gets heavier. After that, we move this container out of the way while destroying this rock and this bush with Sokka so we can air blast the container onto the vents and blowing air into the other one, flipping this container. Then we can transfer the water so we can push away the spiked chest with another air blast. Then we have to create another ice bridge so we can pull the final container into its place and finish this fun but tough section. We get into the door and we make ourselves ready for the final boss fight of the game. We first have to do this little section so all of our team members get split up. We go through the fountain with Katara, and when we are in place, the next door opens. Sokka holds a lever for Aang, and Aang goes on the pressure plate to open the pillars for Sokka. Sokka gets into his place, and the final pillars descend, opening the way for Aang. A huge machine comes driving our way, and the Maker threatens to defeat us with her own avatar machine. She can bend all 4 elements, but that is not the avatar way. The first phase we play as Aang. We have to dodge flames and water while dealing damage with our air blast and shooting back fireballs at it. When we deal enough damage, it's Katara's turn. This is the hardest part of the fight. We get constantly blown back by the wind while rocks shoot out in random directions. We have to create an ice bridge to get close enough, and then we can whip the machine, dealing a lot of damage. Sokka, being the smart one of the group, found himself a spot where he can take no damage and just spam his boomerang circle attack. Nothing difficult about it. We switch back to Aang, where we do the exact same thing. Same counts for Katara and Sokka. And during the final phase, Aang throws a few more air blasts onto the machine, completely destroying his side. And then it's Katara's turn again, but now 2 rocks shoot at her at the same time. But if we calculate it perfectly, we can dodge the rocks, create the ice bridge, and also use her whip to destroy her sides. And Sokka is still chilling in his corner, dealing the final blow and destroying the machine completely. We get the "You Can't Make an Avatar" achievement for defeating the boss, and we also get the Meteor Maker achievements for defeating the boss without getting a single hit. Katara protects Aang, leaving herself injured, but that makes Aang very angry, making him enter the Avatar state and destroying the machine even more. We get the final conversation between Aang, Katara and Sokka, and with that we go straight to the credits. And that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked watching it as much as I did playing it. I want to thank the RetroAchievements community for making this possible, and especially to Bile Demon for creating the sets, and also to XLRZX for creating the badge artwork. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what your favorite part was, or which game you want to see next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.